1966 was an era defined by technological milestones, from the height of the space race to the rapid advancement of jet travel. Today, that same drive for progress defines the luxury watch market. Usually, $8,000 buys you a product of modern engineering, a watch that is pristine, mass-produced, and perfectly identical to every other unit on the shelf. Then there is this, the Rolex Air-King Date, reference 5700. It is 60 years old, it measures a modest 35 millimeters, and its bracelet contains parts replaced long after it left the factory. On paper, these physical specs are underwhelming compared to a modern diver or chronograph. Yet collectors are competing for pieces like this, pushing prices toward the $9,500 mark. It reveals a shift in what collectors value most. In a market saturated with factory-fresh perfection, a growing segment of buyers is looking for something the modern factory cannot reproduce, an authentic relationship with the past. That relationship starts with the dial. This is an original blue Sunburst finish. Because an untouched, unpolished dial is the single most significant driver of vintage value, any sign of repainting or refinishing would immediately slash its worth. You can find the proof of its age at the very bottom edge, in the tiny text flanking the 6 o'clock marker. Those T's signify the use of tritium, a radioactive luminous compound that was the industry standard in the 60s. Because tritium is no longer used and naturally degrades over time, its presence serves as a physical guarantee that this dial hasn't been modernly replaced. Just above the center, the dial is signed Precision. In the Air-King line, this word was Rolex's way of identifying movements built to meet high-level chronometer-grade capabilities. In this market, visible signs of age aren't defects. They are the primary evidence used to verify that a watch is exactly what it claims to be. Beyond the dial, we have the 35mm Oyster case. While we view it as a luxury object today, it was originally designed as a high-stakes survival tool. The Air-King name was a tribute from Rolex founder Hans Wilsdorf to the British RAF pilots of World War II. These aviators required absolute precision to navigate, and the Air-King was built to honor that specific need for reliability under pressure. This wartime heritage is why the 5700 is stripped of gold and diamonds. It is built entirely from stainless steel, a choice made for durability rather than decoration. By 2026, the trend for oversized 44mm cases has begun to recede. Collectors are increasingly interested in these classical 35mm proportions, which offer a balance and elegance often lost in modern, larger designs. Choosing a 35mm case in this era is a deliberate statement. It clearly prioritizes the historical purpose of the design over the loud, conspicuous dimensions of modern hype culture. But the value of a tool watch ultimately rests on its performance. For that, we have to look inside, at the Rolex Caliber 1520. This is a purely mechanical, self-winding engine. It relies on a complex train of gears and the motion of your wrist, rather than a battery or electronic circuit. On the time grapher, this 60-year-old movement records a deviation of +2 seconds per day, with a beat error of 0.0. These figures mean that after 6 decades, this watch is currently outperforming the modern COSC standard for new Swiss chronometers, which allows for a range of -4 to +6 seconds per day. This engineering endurance is the foundation of the 5700's financial value. It is an object built with such robustness that it continues to operate within modern tolerances a lifetime after it was created. Even the replaced parts tell a story. This clasp carries the VD code, dating it to 1979. Because clasps are high-friction wear items, finding period-correct replacements like this is common and does not detract from the watch's core historical value. It leads to a final choice. For $8,500, you could buy a brand-new Rolex Air-King from a local dealer, or you could pursue a 1966 Survivor like this. Economically, the two are very different. Modern models will remain in production for years, increasing the total supply. But for the 1966 model, the supply is fixed and slowly shrinking. Every piece that is lost or damaged makes the remaining survivors rarer. Choosing this watch is a move away from mass-produced status symbols. It represents a different kind of ownership, one where you are not just a consumer, but the temporary steward of a piece of 20th century history. So, which path would you take? Would you prefer the factory-fresh reliability of the modern model or the irreplaceable history of the vintage original?